Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Woo! The biscuits are done. It is hot in this car. That's what my friend Duke used to always say. He'd say, ooh, the biscuits are done. It is. I had it on a 75 and the seat heater's on because Tanya got in my car after the meeting and she's like, can you put my seat heater on? So I put the seat heaters on and she's like, I'm sorry, but I'm cold and you have that puffy jacket on. So I turned the heat way up and now it is too hot in here. I'm dying. Woo! And then we went and got a fountain pop. We drove around and we talked after our home group meeting tonight. Had a great home group meeting. I don't even know where to start. I got up today. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot to say today. But I got up today and like as soon as I got out of bed, I started practicing like the gratitude practices from the magic book by Rhonda Byrne that we're doing. I like put my foot down and said thank, and then my other foot and said you, and then I literally went through like everything from my like life to my sobriety to Alex to my in-laws to my cousin to my best friend. I mean, I went through everything and was like out loud saying what I was grateful for. And then like I took the dogs outside, but that ended up becoming like this crazy situation because our neighbor was out back with his dog. So I took the dogs out front, but then this woman was walking in front, and so Boo Radley ran up to her, but he ran around the side by like Laura's house. And my neighbor, he was standing over there watching like his dog back, and so Boo saw him, and then Boo ran behind the house and Tucker was in the front of the house. So I yelled to him, I said, I was like, can you watch Boo? And I'm gonna take Tucker inside, and he said, yeah. So I went inside and I took Tucker back through the front and then through the back door to the backyard, and then Tucker and Boo chased their dog around forever. He's this big basset hound, and it was hilarious. So that was kind of like the crazy start to my day. But then I sat down and I was uploading the vlog from yesterday, and I haven't always done the gratitude list and the magic work like right when I get up. Like sometimes I wait till later in the day. But today, I like sat down and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it right now before I do anything else. And I did the my gratitude list for today. And then I did, it was like talking about like magical health, I think. I don't know what it was called, but it was about like being grateful for like parts of your body working and things like that. And I did the exercise in there. I felt so happy, so content, so grateful for my life. I mean, I literally, like, I was jamming out, listening to this song that I had downloaded. I watched this documentary called Wig, it's on HBO Max. It's with Lady Bunny and Neil Patrick Harris. They put on the 2018 Wigstock, which was like a drag festival that they used to do like years ago. And I loved the original Wigstock movie, so I watched the second one and I downloaded this song in there. And I was like driving around, dancing to it. I mean, I literally felt like, I know this sounds crazy, but I felt like so high on happiness and positivity. I just was so happy and such a great mood. And so anyway, the day kind of got away from me. I wanted to film a bunch of videos, but I just was like, I don't want to be in a rush. I'm in such a great mood. I don't want to have to rush and do all that. So I'm going to just take my time today, and I wanted to do a little shopping. So I went to go do a little shopping. And then I went to Target because I wanted to get a pillow for our new duvet cover in Shams, because I wanted some throw pillows. So I have the cardinal pillow that I got at the Meijer, and then I got these 3 smaller pillows. They have like burlap around the edge. I don't even know how to explain it, but they say like peace, love, and something on them. And then I got this red pillow at Target. It's like longer. I wanted to get one that said and to all a good night, but that one was sold out. So I got this one that says love on it. It's red. I thought this would actually be better anyway, because it would last throughout the winter season. And I got one that's like red and long, and it says love, like in cursive writing on it. And then it has like white tassels. It's really cool. So I got that, and all these kids out here riding bikes at 10, 12 at night. What's going on? Do you have somewhere you should be? That's probably what I would have been doing when I was the week before Thanksgiving, or the days before Thanksgiving. But anyway, and then I'm almost out of Creed, and I was like, do I buy some? Do I not? And I'm like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna buy some Creed. So I went and bought some Creed from Saks, and then I walked around and I looked at stuff. And if you spend like, for every $150 that you spend at Saks, you get a $100 gift card starting on Friday. And you can do this online too, I think. And so I was like, but I didn't know that. I thought it had passed by already. I got like the email about it. All the lights at Conner Prairie look so pretty. So I was like, kind of upset about that. And like, I heard somebody in like the shoe department, she was telling this guy, she was like, if you had waited till Friday, you would have got like a $100 gift card for this $150. I think it's every $150 you spend, you get a $100 gift card, or maybe it's $250 or whatever. But I was like, that's 2 gift cards that I would have gotten. So I told Alex, because he was like, well, why didn't you just return it? And I was like, I don't know that you can do that, like return it to get the gift cards on Friday, but I'm gonna take it in there tomorrow and see if I can. If they can't, I'm like gonna be like, that's totally fine. But so I kept that. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And then I got this like vegan, well, it's vegetarian, stuffing dressing, or stuffing recipe. I like joked in this video, I like held up this box of stuffing that like we had at home that wasn't like, it wasn't what I wasn't gonna eat it in a video, and somebody was like, that's not vegetarian stuffing. And I was like, yes, I know, I haven't had stuffing in quite some time. I love stuffing, and but like my family never makes vegetarian stuffing because there's not really that many great vegetarian or vegan stuffing dressings out there. So I found a recipe, actually. It's really simple, and you use vegetable broth instead. And so Tanya helped me get this vegetable broth, but I have to get celery and I have to get a red onion for it. So I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and I'm gonna take stuffing to our Thanksgiving, which is like, we're having like the world's smallest Thanksgiving this year, which is totally fine anyway. And then I went to the post office and I got some packages. And one of them is a candle from Bath & Body Works. I have not opened it yet, but whoever sent it to me, thank you. I will talk about it here later. I actually have some other things that I was sent that I haven't talked about on here yet. They're sitting in my kitchen. So I'll show those in the next couple days. I try to like kind of like let stuff pile up. And actually when I was there, so when they put, like when they hold a package because it's too big for my post office box, they put like a yellow, they either put a key and they put it in one of these other boxes, or they put these yellow cards in my box and then they write my P.O. box on the back of it. Well, I had 3 or 4 cards. I had 3 to take in, and I thought maybe I lost one of them. But they could only find 2 packages for me. And then when I opened the box the other day with this key, there was a key in my post office box. This was yesterday. When I opened the post office box, there was nothing in the box. Not my box, personal box, but like they put a key in there for this other box, and when I opened the other box, there was nothing in there. And I was like, what is going on? And so I said to her tonight, I was like, you guys can't find, like, you only found 2 out of the 3 packages and then there wasn't anything. And she's like, that's strange. And I was like, yeah, I hope people aren't taking my packages. Like, I don't believe they would do that. But like, I was like, this is weird, you know? And she's like, yeah. She's like, maybe that, you know. I was like, do you know why that would be? And she was like, no, I don't. Sorry. She was real sweet. I know the woman at the post office because I'm literally there all the time, and she is fantastic. And I felt so bad for her because I was like, there was nobody there when I went. It was like almost 6 o'clock, or it was around 6, it was 6 o'clock maybe already, I don't know. And I said, there's like nobody in, I think it was 6:30 actually. And I was like, there's nobody in here. And she was like, don't say that, people will be rushing in here. She was like, last night we were all day, we were like lying outside the door. And she was like, and I was the only one. And then she's like, when I took my break, somebody else came in, and then we had somebody else that came in to help too. That's a lot. I can't imagine standing behind that counter all day long. But so then I went home, and then Alex was home. He got some stuff to make a salad. He made a salad and was going to watch TV tonight. And I also got something at Target for my mother-in-law. I'm really excited about this little gift deal I'm putting together for her for Thanksgiving. I'm real excited about that. And then, but I don't want to say it on here because I don't want her to know. So anyway, but I'm super excited about it because I know it's something that she'll like. And then I went home and talked to Alex for a little while and stuff. I love my husband so much. He got his hair cut. He looks so handsome. And yeah. And then tomorrow's the last day of the week that he has to work, which is really, really nice. He might have some extra stuff he has to do, like on the weekends and stuff, but I think, or on the weekend, but I don't think he does. I think tomorrow is like it for the week for him, which is nice because then we get to spend, you know, the next couple days together. I'm really excited about that. And is that it? Yeah, then I took a shower and did my hair and got ready. And went and picked up Tanya. I called my sponsor before I went home. And we talked for like 40 minutes on the phone. Half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I took a shower, got ready, went and picked up Tanya Jean. And then we went to our meeting. And then after the meeting, we had a great meeting tonight. We talked about inventory and gratitude and stuff. And selfishness and selflessness. Well, selfishness and self-centeredness we really talked about. It was fantastic. And I'm just in such a great mood. I'm just so happy. I just feel so peaceful and happy and grateful for my life right now. I feel so blessed. And yeah, that was that. And then Tanya and I drove around and we talked. We went and got fountain pops, and then we drove around and talked for a little bit. Just about nothing, I guess. That's from some movie. What were we talking about? Oh, nothing, I guess. What were you thinking about? I can't remember what movie that's from. But anyway, so we drove around and talked, and then I took her home, and we drove down and we looked at the lights at Conner Prairie when they turned around. And then we didn't really look at them. We were just talking. So she was like, "You gonna turn around?" Oh, then we drove by the kennel. She's got pretty lights out at the kennel, so we looked at those. Just a nice day, you know. It was just relaxing, very, I don't know, just good day. Good day. And then dropped her off and at her house, and Alex was texting me about this restaurant that he wants to try, that they have these like tents outside so that you're sitting out, they're like individual tables but they're covered by a tent. This coffee shop or something he wants to try. And then I told him I was going to vlog, and he said okay. And tomorrow I'm going to do a bunch of videos, and I'm so excited to post the video with Caroline and I on Thanksgiving. I watched it back. Really excited about that. And what else? I want to try to, because I didn't make any videos today, so I'm going to definitely make a drama video tomorrow, but I don't have to make one for Thursday because I have the video with Caroline and I, unless a bunch of stuff happens. And if a bunch of stuff happens tomorrow, then I'll just post 2 drama videos tomorrow instead of one on Thursday, probably 2. And then I don't know what we're gonna do on Friday. I'd kind of like to go to Edinburgh Outlet Mall. It opens at 6 a.m. and I thought, well, if we got there like right at 6 a.m., Alex won't want to do that, I know, but my mother-in-law said she might want to go. But the thing is, I don't want to go if it's going to be super packed. But like if we got there right at 6 a.m. and it was empty, like, or, you know, because I don't think people will get there till like 8 or something. And then just like, you can like, because you can drive from store to store to store. So you can just like walk in and walk out. And there's only like 6 stores that I want to go to anyway. I'd like to go to Ralph Lauren. I'd like to go to Bath & Body Works. I know this is corny, but I really want to get a pair of Crocs. They have a Crocs store down there. And I don't even really, that's probably it of where I want to go. I can't even think of anywhere else down there that I really want to go that badly. Bath & Body Works always has good sales on Black Friday, and I also have coupons at home, so we'll see. We probably won't end up doing that, but a lot of places up here aren't doing any kind of Black Friday shopping. I'm like, well, I don't typically ever do like the Best Buys or the Macy's or anything like that. It's too much. I just can't handle it. That's why we always do the outlet mall, because you literally just like walk in and walk out. Oh, Sperry. I like to go look at Sperry. But you literally just like walk in and walk out, and it's just that easy. I kind of think I'd like to, I kind of think I might like to get a pair of Sperry boots for this winter. I have my Golden Goose shoes on tonight. Do you guys want to see them? I'll stop here in a second and show you. They're the Dad Golden Goose shoes. I love them so much. Saw one of my old friends tonight. It was great seeing her. And I just feel so spiritual and so just like full of just life and gratitude right now. I'm just so happy. All these lights back here are so pretty, and you can see in the people's houses with their Christmas trees and stuff. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, finished the Misfortune book number 8 last night, and I started, well, I was gonna start the J.C. Dugard, the second book that she wrote. It's real short. It's less than 6 hours long. It's like 5 hours and 55 minutes. So I was gonna like listen to it real fast and finish it, because I wanted to listen to it for the book club. But I know probably nobody cares about my shoes, but I'm gonna pull over here because I love these shoes and they're so comfortable. But then I was like looking in my library last night of my books on my Audible, and I actually have socks on. Can you even believe it? I like literally never wear socks. Ah. These are my shoes. Aren't those so cute? Anyway. Doop. They look super small. They're 10 and a half. Who called me? Well, they're not 10 and a half. They're like whatever. They're 10 and a half, but they're like Italian size, whatever that is. I think it's like a 43. They might be 10s. I don't know. What else was I gonna say? Gosh, I don't even remember now. Oh, so I was looking in my library, and the new Ernest Cline book, Ready Player 2, came out, and it was like in my library because I had pre-ordered it. So I was like, well, I really have wanted to listen to that for a long time. I'm like almost an hour into it. I'm just not really sure. Like maybe I'm just like not in the mood to listen to it right now or something, because I'm so into those Misfortune books. But I'm just like, I don't know. I loved Ready Player 1 when I read it, and the pop cultural references in Ready Player 2 are just as good as Ready Player 1. It's fantastically written. It's just absolutely amazingly written. I will say it's really interesting. It reminds me so much, like the philosophy of the book, of what the book is about, reminds me a lot of Hank Green's book. the second one, the extraordinarily whatever, beautiful idea or whatever it's called. And it's really weird because it's like they're almost the identical same idea that they both wrote about in their books. And I'm like, this is really, and it's a science fiction kind of concept. And I'm like, well, it is a science fiction concept. And I'm like, this is really interesting to me that two completely different authors basically wrote the same scientific, philosophical idea in a book, like in the same year. You know, it's like when you look back on, like, I can remember going to, what was it, Disney World, you know, and you would go into that, it's a small world after all, and all that kind of stuff. And then there would be that one part, or maybe it was at Epcot, I don't remember, but they would show, like, the house, and it seemed like so, like, you know, futuristic. That would all be run, like, you know, on, like, touchpads and stuff like that. And now it's like, I literally have, like, Google Home on my phone, you know, for, like, our lights and stuff like that. And it's crazy to me, you know, that, like, that's how far we've come. And so it makes you wonder, like, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this book and I'm like, okay, this is not one but two authors that basically have the same, you know, science fiction concept. Like, in 20 years, is that what our world is going to be like? Like, it's crazy. But I don't want to ruin it for anybody in case anybody wants to read it. It's good. If you liked Ready Player One, it's basically, it picks up like right after Ready Player One ended, pretty much, and it's the same people. So I just wish it hadn't been that long since I read Ready Player One, because I don't remember a whole lot. I will tell you that the other thing that's interesting about this is I forgot this, was that Ready Player One, like, the main character came across as much more mature in the book, like, talked about a lot more, like, adult kind of themes in the book. I mean, the book was definitely written for adults, whereas I feel like the movie was made kind of, it was more family-ish, but Ready Player One was made for adults, or Ready Player One was written for adults, and the movie I felt like was, like, made for, like, families. And Ready Player Two, like, right out of the gate, it's like the same character in the book, which is weird because in my head I kind of, like, remember, I haven't watched that movie in a long time. Actually, I said something to Alex. I was like, when did I talk to him about that? Maybe I was just when I was talking about being excited about the book coming out, and I said, don't you remember the movie? I thought we had watched it together. And he goes, I haven't seen the movie. I said, you haven't seen Ready Player One? He was like, no. I said, oh, it's really good. Like, I didn't like Ready Player One, the movie, as much as the book, because the book was just so layered in pop cultural references. I mean, Ernest Cline was just a fantastically genius writer when it came to this layering the book with pop cultural references from, like, the 80s and 90s. But he picks it up doing it here too, and there's, like, a real art and skill to that. I mean, to also remember all of those. I mean, I love anybody that does, like, pop cultural references from the past. Obviously, if you watch my drama channel, you know, I do that a lot with, like, songs and stuff like that. So it's very endearing to me. And he does it with, they put this sign here that says traffic approaching when flashing. They just put it up there, like, in the last month or two. And it makes me wonder if, like, something happened here, because they never had that sign for the longest time. I hope not. I hope nothing bad happened. But anyway, yeah, it's the same in the second book. But, like, the movie couldn't really capture that as well. And also in the movie, like, the Oasis, like, which was the other world where everything happened, I only remember that because they reference it again in the second book. It was like you would put this headset on, and then you had an avatar, and then your avatar was basically like a person living in this oasis. So your avatar you went to school, but, like, you had an avatar that would actually go to school and, like, go to work. And so people just sat with these headsets on all day long, and that was basically what it was about. Then it was about them having to find this Easter egg that was hidden inside of the oasis, which was basically a video game kind of thing, and that whoever found the Easter egg, which is like a video gaming term, like, it's like a hidden, like, thing, secret. Whoever found the Easter egg, like, got to take over the company. And that was what the first book was about. The company that owned the Oasis, which basically the entire world relied on the Oasis, so it would basically be like being the most important person in the world kind of thing. Like the most technologically, like, #1 person in the world. So, book 2 picks up where that left off, like with the people, the person and the people like winning and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, there was really no way. And I feel like, I can't remember who made the movie. I don't think it was Steven Spielberg, but it might have been. But there was really no way for them to recreate the Oasis as exact as it was in the book. Because in the book, it was so fantastically described. Like, you could really visualize it reading the book. Well, I listened to it on Audible. The Audible's fantastic. It's narrated by Will Wheaton. And actually, I was reading some reviews of it on Goodreads, because I wanted to see what people thought of it. I didn't read what it was about. I just read and like a lot of these, most people hadn't read it yet, and they gave it ratings already, which I hate when people do that. Like, why are you rating a book when you haven't even read it yet? But there was like one thing that said, if Will Wheaton doesn't narrate the second, because he narrated the first one, if he doesn't narrate the second one, I'm going to be really upset. Do you remember Will Wheaton? He was in Stand By Me. He is such a fantastic narrator. But anyway, so he did narrate the second book as well. And so that was cool. So it's fun to listen to it. I'm getting kind of hyped up talking about it. I'm getting excited talking about it. I wasn't that excited listening to it last night. I don't know why. I just was kind of like, I'm ready for Misfortune. I'm ready for Fortune Reading, and I want to get back to those books. I told Tanya I was going to be so upset when the series was over, and she goes, well, you have 10 more books. I said, I have 9 more books. I follow the author on Twitter of the Misfortune series, Jana DeLeon, and I sent her a message, and she responded. She was like really, really nice. Actually, Walmart just tweeted me out. Isn't that so funny? Because I said this thing about, like, do you ever feel like you're walking runway? I hadn't even been in Walmart today, but I was just thinking about this, but I was like, do you ever think that you're like walking runway you just bust out and start walking runway to the music, and if you weren't in the Walmart, you would think that you were a supermodel pose. And Walmart retweeted it and said something about you're giving us Walmart realness or something like that, which was hilarious. But anyway, seeing her pictures and stuff, like, it's so weird. It's like she's like this real person, and she like created this, like, unbelievable. I mean, I thanked her. I was like, thank you for the characters in the world that you developed. Like, it's just incredible to me. I'm so enthralled with these books. I love them. And I think it was, and she's like guested in our live stream before. I think it was Monn. I have to just tell this because this is funny. So I was on my Goodreads yesterday, and somebody, like, I was like looking through like not my notifications. I was looking through, like, it'll show you like where people are. Like, when you go on like the updates in the feed, it just shows you like people are like, they like, mark like what books they want to read, where they're at, if they finished a book, they're taking a Goodreads poll and all that kind of stuff. So there was this one that came up, and I was like, I looked at it and I was like, the profile picture looks like, you know, because like a profile picture is like a profile picture, you know, like on Facebook or any Twitter or, you know, Instagram, anywhere else. But Goodreads is the same thing, but they're real small. And I was looking at it, I was like, that profile picture looks like my book. And I was like, I don't remember how I saw this, but I was like, who has my book as a profile picture? And then I was like, it said Monn, and I was like, oh, she's in our book club. And so I went to her Goodreads, and she has my book as her profile picture. That is so flattering. That is like the nicest thing in the entire world. I actually think she watches this vlog. So hey, Monn, how are you? And but I was like looking through her books that she had read, and first of all, she's read like every book that's in the book club, so thank you for being such an active participant. But then I also noticed that she had read like a lot of, she's like farther along than I am in the Misfortune series, and I was like, I think maybe it was Manal that recommended those books to me. So if it was you, thank you so much. I actually stalked every book that you've read. I looked through all of them like, girl, I think I mentioned a book and then you read it. It's because it stopped. I didn't even know I was at 30 minutes. But like, seriously, like our Goodreads is like, like I mentioned a book and then she like reads it or something. I was like, I love that so much, because there are some people, like I have this friend of mine on Instagram, and like any book that he shows, like takes a picture. He's not even like on Bookstagram or BookTube or anything. He's just a friend that I knew from back in the day. I actually just talked to him the other day because he had a t-shirt on that said, I don't even know him very well, but like we were kind of friendly back in the day. But anyway, he had a t-shirt on and a picture that said Strode Realty from, you know, Halloween. Like Laurie Strode's dad was a realtor, and I wanted to get it for Melissa because she would die, right? And so I sent him a message and I was like, hey, where'd you get your shirt? He didn't respond. So like Alex like texted, we were at brunch. Was this last Sunday or the Sunday before? But anyway, he always is posting really great books on his Instagram. So I messaged him and I was like, I'm always stealing your books that you're reading. He was just like, LOL, and he was like, that's hilarious or something. I don't know what he said, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, I always get ideas for books from other people, like talking about books, and God, I wouldn't have read half the books that are some of my favorite books if it wasn't for other people talking about them. So I loved when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, we're reading all the same books. It's cool. So anyway, Tanya and I were actually talking about books tonight because she was telling me about some new book that Tanya told me, I said, Tanya, I've read 71 books this year because I'm so proud of it. So every time I've read another one, I'll say, Tanya, I've read 72 books this year. Like when that happens, I'll be saying that to her. And she said, I've read 161. And I go, what? Because of course it's a total competition, right? And I said, no, you haven't. And she goes, yeah, I have. And I go, how do you even know, Tanya? I said, because you don't have a Goodreads. I've been trying to convince her to get a Goodreads forever. She just acts like she didn't even hear me when I said tonight, I said, you need to get a Goodreads. She just acted like she didn't hear me. I said, how do you know how many books she's read? She goes, it tells me on my Kindle. And I said, it tells you how many books you've read in a year? She goes, yeah, because I don't read on a Kindle, right? She goes, yeah, it tells you how many books you've read. I've read 161. I said, you've read 161 books already? I said, that is so unfair. I haven't passed my thing. And then I was telling, because I haven't passed my goal of 100 yet this year. We're hoping and praying. So, Tanya said, something about she needed a new book to read or something like that. And I don't know what made me think of this, but I was like, have you ever read the Billy Letts books? And she was like, who's texting me over here? She was like, what are the Billy Letts books? And I was like, the one where the girl has the baby in the Walmart. This is like all becoming about the Walmart. I don't know why. And she was like, have I shown you guys my new coat? Okay, they have them in black and blue and blue. Dark, this is like navy blue and lighter blue. $39.95 at Costco. It's Eddie Bauer. Don't you think that's cute? I think it's real cute. It's really warm and toasty. So anyway, I said, so I said, look those books up, the Billy Letts books. I said, because she passed away like 10 years ago or something, and I was devastated when she passed away. When I found out that she had passed away, because she had written like 4 to 6 books, and I loved every single one of them. She was actually married to a famous actor. So anyway, and she didn't start writing until she was like 50 or 60, which always gave me hope, because I was like, okay, well, then I still have time to write a book, you know? Who keeps on texting me? I can't see. Anyway, so she pulled it up, and I think the one that I liked, well, I really liked Where the Heart Is, but I read that before the movie came out. The movie, I think, is with, oh, not Anna Paquin. What's her name? Why can't I think? Is that Anna Paquin? No, it's Natalie. I can't think, but anyway, that movie is so good. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Stockard Channing's in it. I love Stockard Channing. People used to always say my mom reminded them of Stockard Channing, which is so funny because they don't look anything alike. People also used to say that my mom looked like, when she was younger, they always said my mom looked like Sally Struthers from All in the Family. There was somebody else that people said my mom looked like, and now I can't think of who it is. But anyway, so Tanya looked it up, and the first book was called, because she had seen the movie Where the Heart Is. And I said, well, the book is almost exactly like the movie, so there's no reason to read the book. The book is almost exactly like the movie, so there's no reason to read the book if you've already seen the movie. I thought that movie was you talk about great, like, book-to-movie adaptations. That was a great adaptation. They did a fantastic job on that movie. Natalie. Why can't I think of her name? I love that movie. I actually watched that movie when I was in Arizona visiting Mel. I watched that one night as I was going to sleep because I was scared in that house that I rented. Which is why I had to put a chair against the door with a blanket and everything, so I couldn't see underneath it. So she looked it up and she's like, oh, it's 358 pages. That's like the kind of book that I like. I go, Tanya loves long books. She loves to get into a book that she can't put down. And so we were talking about, like, books you can't put down or whatever, you know, and she's like, where you have an emotional attachment at the end of it, you don't want it to end. And I go, did you ever read the Christopher Rice books? And she was like, who? She's like, is that vampire lady's son? I said, yes, Anne Rice. Now, I personally didn't enjoy the Anne Rice books, but, you know, I've actually thought about going back and reading them, like, I never completed one of them, but going back and trying to read, like, the Interview with the Vampire or the Vampire Lestat. I mean, when I was, like, in high school and college, I would say more like 1920, those Anne Rice books, like, people were obsessed with it. Like, you'd constantly meet people at, like, the Perkins or Denny's, and they would say they were vampires and they were writing a novel and a composition book. It's like what everybody that I met was doing, right? They'd sit there and drink coffee for 5 hours and write in a composition book and smoke cigarettes. My friends and I, we met so many vampires back in the day, or so-called vampires that were writing novels. They were going to be the next Anne Rice. Does she write books anymore? I don't even know. But anyway, her son Christopher Rice, I loved his books. And I couldn't remember what the name of this one book was. There was two that I loved, and I thought he only had 3 or 4 books out, but I guess he has more than that. And Tanya said they're all free on Kindle because she looked it up. And so this one, she was like reading through, and I was like, no, not that one. No, not that. I trimmed my beard and it's driving me crazy. I trimmed it yesterday. And then I used the scissors around here and right here, and it's like itching so bad. But anyway, I was like, no, not that one. No, not that one. Can't remember what those were called. And then she was like, The Snow Garden. I was like, that's it, The Snow Garden. Oh my God, that is so good. And she said something, she was like, oh, it's 500 and some pages. That's exactly what I want to read. I go, 500 pages? Like, it doesn't seem to me like it was really that long, but I don't remember. But I loved that book. It was so eerie and intriguing, but it was really good. So she'll probably text me in like 2 hours and be like, I can't put this book down. I can't remember the one the Billy Letts one. She said she's going to read them all. She goes, I'll just read them all. She literally reads a book in a day or two. I'm like, okay. We had such a good time tonight. So yeah, that's that. And then tomorrow, I'm excited to put all of our new bedding on the bed and make it look real comfy cozy. I'm excited to surprise Alex with it when he comes home. And narrow the nightstands down. He's got to take a look at them. I'll have him do that tomorrow night. He was just wanting to relax tonight. He said he wasn't tired. I said, I can't believe you're not tired from staying up so late last night. And he goes, I'm not. He stayed up late playing his game and stuff last night. And I was like, he was upset. Who was I telling about that today? Oh, I was telling Caroline about it. I said, Alex is upset. I said, if you see him and he's like this, because he's like, whenever his phone is turned sideways, he's always like on that game. And she's like, what game is it? And I go, Township. He's obsessed with it. She's like, that is so funny. I go, it is until it's not, but it is funny. I don't know why I said it is until it's not. I think it's cute that he gets so into it. He's always wanting to tell me about it. So he'll be like, well, I built an aquarium or something, like, you know. I'm like, you must have the world's biggest town by now. Mm-hmm. He's like real proud of it. I wouldn't even understand that game if I started it. I'm like, what's that thing that looks like a slot machine on there? And he's like, well, that's how you get stuff to build stuff with. And I'm like, how do you get it? And he's like, don't worry about it. Because I wouldn't get it anyway. I wouldn't understand. And I totally wouldn't either. My eyes are tired tonight. Oh, Lord. Lord, won't you buy me Mercedes-Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. Do you guys know that song? By Janis Joplin. What is this? Why is it doing that? On Radio Classics, Oh Gunsmoke, William Conrad, 8:30:54. That seems so crazy. I was playing a little bit of it for Tanya tonight, and I was like, I said, isn't it make you so happy to listen? Because you can hear people laughing and stuff like that, you know, I love the Radio Classics, the old radio shows I used to listen to. I started crying talking about my mom tonight. I was like, I said, you know, it's always interesting to me when people talk about their families and, you know, holidays and stuff and how people drive them crazy. And I get that, you know, I mean, and I said my mom could drive me crazy sometimes too. A lot. But I said what I wouldn't give to have one more Thanksgiving with her. And then I joked and I said, well, maybe not two, but at least one. It's sad. It's like, you know, typically, like that last Christmas that I had with my mom, I didn't know that was her last Christmas. I can remember, you know, like, I don't know, you just never know. You never know that that's going to be like the last holiday that you're going to have with somebody, or the last phone call with them, or the last interaction. That's why, like, I'm such a believer and like trying to always like part ways positively, you know, and enjoy somebody's company as much as you can, whether it's a phone call or getting together with them or whatever it is, because you don't ever know, you know what I mean? I think sometimes it just becomes like traditions aren't really traditions. They're just like this thing that we do, you know, year after year after year. It's like, okay, we're getting together with the family, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then it's like, it doesn't have really any meaning to it anymore. You know what I mean? Like all the past. I mean, I would get excited about seeing my like aunt and uncle at Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that, but like, I wasn't like overwhelmed with joy. I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to see my Aunt Kathy. You know what I mean? Like, I was excited about seeing her, but I wasn't like it was the end of the world or anything. And then you look back and you think, God, I wish I only had one more Thanksgiving with her, you know, to really truly appreciate it. And I think that's where you practice gratitude forward, you know, and being thankful for the moment that you're having then, or the moment that you're about to have, you know, and because you don't know. And I think that's hard. And I think we beat ourselves up for that in this world, about if I had only known, or I would have done this differently. Well, you don't, you know. And even if you lived consciously in that all the time, like, or I should only speak for myself, even if I lived consciously in that all the time, I couldn't. I could, I guess, but it would be very difficult to constantly be so grateful for everybody in my life all the time that I never beat myself up for, well, I wish it, you know, I had spent more time or been more appreciative. But, you know, it's like, the next time you find yourself complaining about somebody, and myself included, you know, it maybe be a good action to think about those people out there that don't have, you know, moms or dads or siblings or friends even, you know, like, was talking to Tanya about that earlier. I'm so incredibly grateful for her friendship, you know? It's like, it's like sometimes why I get like down about some of this stuff like on the internet. Like sometimes it's hard for me because it's like all these people whining and complaining about this isn't like sometimes these YouTubers wear me out, like blah 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 blah, or you know, this isn't fair, you know, whatever. And I'm like, with like getting paid a certain amount of money or you know, whatever. I mean, life's not fair. You know, there's a lot of unfair stuff that I could complain about that's petty, and I do sometimes complain about it because I'm human and that's gonna happen, right? But at the same time, it's like, I think that's where the importance of, like, I was talking to my sponsor about, and she was like, well, gratitude is an action. Like, this is, I think, she was like, I think the reason you're feeling it on a deeper level is because you're actually practicing things, like the action of doing these things instead of just talking about it. You're actually putting action to it, you know? And maybe that is true, I don't know. I do feel it on a different level, and it does make me think about others and what people that don't have certain things, you know, and that we take for granted. And it's like, I don't know, like I was talking about that cologne and I just felt so like, talk about selfishness, like that I felt stupid that I could have like bought it and got these gift cards, which is true, you know, I mean, like I don't want to, like I could have gotten money out of that, you know, but at the same time, it's like, in the grand scheme of things, you know, I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that I can even do that, you know, and I think it's being grateful for whatever your situation and your condition is, which is why there's a lot of like paying gratitude forward and stuff like that, you know, and it's like, I don't want to be a BS artist and say I don't like nice things. Like I say this on here a lot. Like I do like nice things, and I'm going to always like nice things. I always have liked nice things, but I don't want to become A, consumed with it, and B, I don't want to lose sight of it. Like not like realizing that, you know, Peter, you have a pretty blessed life, that if your worst complaint today is about this cologne situation, but that there are people out there that can't eat this week. Like, you know, pull it in and stop complaining. And it's absolutely correct, you know? And I think that's why it's important for me to see myself, or see the world through other people's eyes, not just mine, you know? And I don't think, you know, this is kind of like, this was a conflict I had in my head for a long time. Like, if I'm a really spiritual, humble person, then I can't like nice things. Like, you can't be a spiritually grounded, spiritually fit, humble, good, kind person giving back to the world and carry a Louis Vuitton bag. That is absolute BS. That's not true at all. And, I mean, you can, you know? And the reality is, it's just about the becoming consumed with it. Like, you don't have to become consumed with it, you know? But you can still like it. And I don't think that it speaks to you not being a good person. I think it just, you know, it means that maybe that's not what is a priority to you. And so it's about keeping yourself in check, you know? And I think it's okay to like those things. It's okay to want to drive a nice car, or go on a nice trip, or have a nice home. And I think everybody's things are different, you know? But I think for me, the moment where those things equaled happiness, that's when there was a problem. Like, if I didn't have those things, I couldn't be happy, you know? When the reality is, some of the happiest moments in my life were when I literally had no money, you know? And it was literally paycheck to paycheck. I can remember my roommate and I, like, after, I got sober, she and I would, like, I mean, when I started working in treatment, I was not making any money whatsoever, and I can remember she and my boyfriend and I, like, just making the most ridiculous meals and stuff, and penny pinching, and it was fun, like, there was a lot of fun to that, too. And the same as, like, when Alex and I were paying off debt and stuff, our first couple years together, and it was, like, coming up with creative date ideas that didn't cost a lot of money. Like, that was fun, and because the date was important and we wanted to work together on that. So I think it's about really focusing and being a good person inside, wanting to be a good-hearted person, and I want to be a good-hearted person. I want to be a kind, caring person and put kindness and love and compassion and forgiveness out there in the world, I mean, I think I want to be a recipient of that as well, but I think that we all want to feel those things, you know what I mean? So anyway, I think maybe sometimes the holidays are good reminders of that too. The holidays can be serve as good reminders for us to be, like, happier people, and be more gracious and grateful. My cousin said the word gracious the other day in our video that we filmed. I love that word, and I think that we can be more grateful for those things that we have with each other and for each other, and being thankful for each other. So I don't know, maybe this week think of one person that you're really, really grateful for in your life, and let them know and tell them and say, hey, I just want you to know I'm really grateful for you, and this is why, and I want to thank you for being in my life, because I think that's powerful to hear that. I don't think we tell people that enough, I know I don't tell people that enough. So I don't know, maybe you guys out there tell people that all the time, but I know I don't tell people that enough, and I need to do a better job of telling people that, because I'm so grateful for my husband and my best friend and my in-laws and my dad and my stepmom and my cousin and my other friends. Like, I feel so incredibly blessed to have the people that I have in my life, and I think it's important that they know that. I don't think we tell people when we're alive enough, like, how much they mean to us. So just pick one person maybe and let them know this week how much they mean to you. Like I always say when I close things out, most importantly, let somebody know how much they mean to you. And on that note, I'm going to close this out and I'm going to say good night. And as my dear friend Stephanie says, I'm just going to say tonight, I love you. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!